Hey, I'm back. Earlier we had some technical issues that came up to as to the recording part. I think there is a setting issue, in both from my side and my admin side, where I think it's going to take only like 250 MB, 250 MB, 250 MB. I think it is a chunk-like thing. They have some Windows system with which they are running. So coming on to that, I mean, I'm not going to worry about that. When he sent me a message saying that it's broken, that means I've stopped. Wherever I am. So said that. Now this video is called From Phrases. This is one of the techniques which I use to be very, very honest with yourself as a writer. The first thing you should look at is what is more comfortable for you. Do not try to imitate somebody else's techniques. Do not try to adapt somebody else's phrases and words and things like that. When you do that, the problem is you will not be able to be spontaneous. You will not be able to. You always will have to go through the same circus. This is one of the technique I use earlier. Lisa, she had shown an amazing technique, where she actually puts in, takes a set of images, and I think I may have to mute this, otherwise it may create a lot of problem. She may, where she actually, this is a long time back, the same technique was used by, Mukushla, when she wrote poetry, and she actually brought in some images. I don't know whether she collected it or whether she taken by herself, I don't know. But you only look at these images and then you can figure out what exactly she's trying to communicate. Then it's like an interpretation of a poem through images. So it has got its own vagary. When you say that, but what Lisa shown was a totally different way. What she did was she said, I am going out to a place. Say she is in somewhere in Colorado. I'm not going to say. I know exactly where she is, but I'm not going to say that. She's in Colorado, and she went to take some pictures. What she did was went and took this wilderness of winter. So that's what she actually took. She took a whole set of pictures and said, okay, these are the images I'm looking at. So then she actually goes into these pictures and she's going to detail what she felt when she was actually there when she's taking the pictures. She's the one who actually taught me anything and everything about the 360 degrees pictures. That's what she did. She used a 360 degree camera and took these amazing pictures and brought it up. And once she came in, this is something where the 360 degree pictures really works, where she pretty much kept the camera very close to her so that she is only a little part of that picture. The rest, everything is there. And you can go through each and every element, you can look at each and every side, up and down and all around, and even bottom part, you can see what is there down. And that will actually give you an idea about, what need to be written. So then she is actually going through each and every image. But it's not describing the image that matters there. There is a description part of that comes in. But then explained, from there. So that's what and even though her explanation part was not up to mark, she herself actually said I was not able to explain my own images and imagery. I'm actually saying this is what she tried. Now, that was amazing. And that's one way. If everybody is going to go and take a 360 degree camera and go out there and take a bunch of pictures, poetry is not going to come out of you. You need to have an idea about what you are doing. That is one of the main things you have to learn. And this is this learning will not come from, saying, oh, God gave me a lot of talent to write. Yeah, God gave you a talent to observe. The observation is your talent. Like Lisa, is a great example. Somebody else actually came there. She's much more, experienced than all of us. Even though she's only like about 6 years older than me, 6 or 7 years older than me. I'm not going to name her. She said, no, name me. So what she shown was a fantastic thing. And, she was doing this, some sort of a knitting, or I don't know whether I'm going to say it right, crochet, crochet, or whatever you call it. She was actually doing that. I mean, she and then she actually said, she did some part of it, and she actually shown us something she did, some knitting she did for it's like a wall art. I mean, it's like multiple pieces put into the wall. Then she said, once I put in this, I got an idea from that, which she wrote as a poem, and she printed that out, and it looks amazing on the wall. She's shown each and every piece up close, and then shown the actual poem, which she wrote. That's another way. See, that's what I was telling earlier, that there is poetry in each and every aspect of life, and that aspects will come very naturally. And that's where people actually say, oh yeah, this is an inherent talent. No, it doesn't really come like that. It's your background that really comes back to you. Some people say they need to get really hurt to really come to a point of making music. They need to be really pained when they have to express, so that so they actually go through really weird things. I recently wrote a poem, in which I was telling about that. I think this Verma phrase is going to really go beyond 250. So, long story short, from a phrase, this is what I'm going to actually show you. This is very, very quick, okay? So, I may have to go a little quickly. I think I may be able to see. I have written a phrase, and this is where I'm going to try to develop this phrase. I don't have any idea about where I'm going through. I just made that up. So I am going to get you to that, and let's see. There you go. It's called Kiss of the Thin Air. So the phrase is that, kiss of the thin air. So how do I go from here? There is an element of, so you need to break this phrase up. If it is just one word, you are going to actually have a problem. But still, what is it that comes into your mind? Kiss of the thin air. First of all, the air is thin. That means it is a little warmer weather, not winter. That's first thing you may actually notice. So I'm going to break this up into multiple portions and saying that, okay, then the air, mid-morning means, okay, early morning, most of the time the air is pretty stale because the sun is only coming up. It's not warmed up enough. So if you are talking about the thin air need to kiss you, that means it need to move. Unless there is some really wild, weird storm or anything going on, it's not going to do anything. So that's where I'm going to go. So what all are the elements that you need to actually bring in? Usually people have their own tools. For me, what I use is, what are the things? Trees, birds, sun, and a wonderful thing which I always use. I need a girl. So this is where, I actually come, because most of my poems are actually on the theme of romance. So I have to come back to that romantic part. So then what I'm going to do is, okay, girl. So usually the girl comes towards the end. But once I finish the whole thing, then I may actually rearrange the whole poem in such a way that it makes more sense. Or it brings in its own uniqueness. That's the idea. So I've broken that thing up, so how am I going to get the kiss? So this is where I'm actually going into. So by this time, you need to actually image things in your head as to where you are and what you are going to feel. So that's what you need to be worried about. That's what you should be. I use the word worried. It's not worried. That's what you should be focusing on. That what are you feeling? Don't think what the reader is going to feel. At this point, I may have to use one word of profanity. You can say the reader can go fuck himself with your poem. I don't care a fuck about that. But right now, what you are focusing on is what you are feeling. So this is where I start. I have to do a little spacing issues there. So I go through all this, then I'm actually going, the fantastic morning wept when she left. Why would she leave, Things come into my mind, but it may not really fit. I said every corner, then every bit of the corners. Every corner, then I said every bit of you. Okay. Just you can see how I actually went through that. Okay, I broken up, and then this is something which I'm actually coming in. This may not really fit well, when it comes. Sometimes I only need one write. That is sometimes. It's not all the time, where I am going to write only once. Usually I go through multiple revisions. So the next part I'm coming in. Okay, so I'm actually saying I brought in the word spring very clearly. So that's one part. Then this is where the enhancements comes in. And the enhancements really is where I actually bring in. See, the sun is already out there right now. The trees is not there yet, and the birds. So the birds and trees are the next enhancement I'm going to actually bring in. So because I haven't reached the part where the kiss is happening, okay? The kiss happens during the wind. So this is where you need to focus. Order of operations, So it's like a mathematical equation. In a mathematical equation, you always look at, what is the order of operations. See which one you should do, the multiplication of things in the brackets. There are a lot of other things, you worry about. How are you going to do that? So you have that order of operations. So in the same way, here you have the order of operations. Now your mastery comes in when you practice this again and again and again, and then you change this order of operations. Sometimes, when I was very young, not very too young, when I was, earlier in my writing, some people actually looked at my, my poems and said, okay, this is a lot of Yoda talk, because I actually changed the subject verb, subject verb order in a sentence, so that I can actually recite it properly. So that's what I looked at, I focused on. Even though I got that criticism in my earlier in my life, I still didn't really give a rat as to that. Okay, I want to write what I want to write. So that's why I edited my book and said, I know an editor will take my poetry and say, fuck, this is not even fucking poetry. So I don't care a jack about it. What I care about it is, okay, how I feel comfortable writing this. This is what I said even before in the very first beginning. That's what I'm coming down to. You should be comfortable what you are doing. So once you are comfortable with what you're doing, then it is practice. Then you keep on doing what you did. It's repetition. It's continuous again and again and again. Like I said, you take a 360-degree picture. Okay? Now I'm coming back to what Lisa did. Take a 360-degree picture and go through that 360-degree picture and multiply it by 5. Earlier in the first one, I actually said multiply it by 5. And that multiplication part, okay, that one actually is going to bring each and every element of that image into it. That's what you are going to do. That's it. That, you know, sometimes each and every degree in that multiplied part is going to become a poem. Sometimes it is just one poem. That's up to you. That also, not the reader that is deciding, not the listener that is deciding. Listener may get bored. There will be 1,000 listeners who are going to get bored by you. No, I don't care about the 1,000 listeners who are bored. I care about that one person who should listen to this. That one person who enjoys it. That one person who gets entertained by it. That one person who gets enlightened by it. That's it. That's where it all comes down to. From a phrase. I'll get to all that because I may not have a lot of time remaining. So as the video need to be, you know, shortened. So I'm going to go back to myself. I'm going to go back to myself, you know, from a small little poet, you know, I'm here. It's me. You know, I wrote that. So I will finish it and probably you will see it in lonelypoet.com. As you know, because I'm already at 17 minutes. We are at 17 minutes, you know, so I haven't got any message from him saying that this is all crashing. So that's where things are, you know, you got an idea. That's the idea. I mean, I don't want to write the whole poem. I have done this because then it is going to be in a different place. Not in a YouTube video. Maybe I can do a live show doing all that, but it takes a lot of time. It's not like what you think, you know, just sit there and write 4 lines. Then where is the next 4 lines going to come? Where is the next part which I'm actually taking? Next movement. So it's like a movement. So the next movement, where is it going to come? And how is it going to fit into this order of operations? So then if that is the case, then how is the other side going to fit in? So I bring in the other parts. And then it is actually kiss from thin air, okay? That thin air, where is the thin air going to come? What is the validity of thin air? And what exactly it denotes when it comes to reality? Now what I will do is, okay, I will take this phrase and then I actually connect it to that reality. So I will initially give that enhancements. That first I actually said, okay, yeah, here is the sun, here is the moon, you know, here is a air, why is the air warm, you know, all those things I say. Then I give an explanation about a tree. Then I actually give an explanation about what do you say, a bird coming in, and you know that bird's flight is where, you know, I'm actually telling, you know, this idea is just popping out of my head. The bird's flight is what matters to me, and what is that bird? And when that bird passed, the air came and the air kissed. And that air is what matters to me, not the other air, not the other world, not the 7 billion people in the world and the trillions of, you know, insects and other creatures in the world. Nothing matters. That bit of an air that touched my lips, that matters. And the bird denotes the girl. There you go. So, you know, this is just an idea, but it may change. Once I actually go through the poem, it may actually change. So that's your, I mean, same way you have to enhance your thought process and you bring in your reality into it. And once you bring in that reality, it may be very simple. It may be boring for, like I said, you know, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 1 million people. But, you know, I myself have only like from 6-7 billion people, or from the 2-3 billion people using the Facebook. there are only like 2,300 people, you know, in my Facebook, 2,400, and I know 2,380, I think, you know, the last time I checked, on my Facebook page, you know, who follows me. Yeah, that's all. You know, I don't need, you know, 50,000 people following me and I don't even know who they are. Some of these guys who comes and, you know, writes a comment there saying very nice, beautiful, fantastic. I know most of them are actually speaking about the girl. I know that very well. But, you know, I actually put a girl's picture there because, and recently somebody asked, okay, this is a very brief explanation. I go, oh, I think I already passed 20. Brief explanation I can give before I actually shut this down. What is the, why I actually post the pictures of European American or European people of European origin. I don't use colors to describe people. The reason I don't use African American is, okay, the girl in my mind is a girl of European origin. Okay, so that's the reason why I give a girl like that. But you know, I have posted pictures of Indian girls. I have posted African American girls. I think I have posted at least 2 or 3 Chinese girls. That actually put, you know, but you know, those things, poems may be a little different. Even that actually gives a different view. You know, that's the idea. So, but most of the time it is this. So that's the reason why actually the girl in my mind is what I am actually trying to bring. If there was a possibility of, you know, putting her own picture there, I don't think I will put her picture in there anyway. I mean, unless she actually comes and tells me, put my picture in there, you know, then I will say, okay, I'll do that for her. But otherwise, I wouldn't actually, I wouldn't recommend it because, you know, the people will have different views, you know, different things. Like one of my a poetess in Facebook, you know, I only know her. She's originally from India, from my state, and she actually told me once she posted her own picture, and I wrote like 2 or 3 lines of poems and describing her beauty. So how wonderful she looks. Then I wrote underneath that, you know, that, you know, I'm sorry that, you know, your husband may not really feel comfortable with these words, you know. And she said, he may have to really live with that. So yeah, I have already coached him, and then she said later on a message, I have already coached him to live with that, and he's fine. Don't worry. But even if he's not liking it, he just have to live with it. So, but for Indian context that may work, but in American context it may not really work. You know, some people will really break up. So that's a whole different game. You know, that's a whole different situation. You know, and which I may talk about sometime else. But at this point, I'm going to wrap this, and you guys have a fantastic day. And I'll bring more videos like this. I hope you guys enjoyed this. The copy of this show will be available there. You know, and of course I will post the link of from YouTube there. Okay. Have a nice day. Bye bye.